You know that feeling when you look at a woman and everything about her just feels expensive? But she's not wearing designer bags or designer labels, but there's something about her energy and her presence that just makes you want to respect her more. But did you know creating this expensive aura is actually a lot easier than you think? Because in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 12 micro habits that every lazy girl can implement in order to turn into a high value woman. These tips I'm about to share with you are super simple, super easy, incredibly lazy girl approved, yet immediately making your presence feel expensive, deeply respected, and remembered. This video isn't just for the women that are already in their high value woman era or on the journey, but this video is also curated for anyone who feels like they don't have that permission yet. A lot of women make the mistake that they need some sort of stamp of approval from the gods above, from the people around us, and we feel like we're always waiting for this permission in order to allow ourselves to step into this role. But what if I told you that you are already a high value woman? No matter what your past was, no matter what you look like, no matter what you feel like, these conditions that you created only have power over you if you allow these conditions to continually rule your life. And we are not about that here on this channel. We don't care about your past. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you true actionable tips that you can start implementing today so you can start becoming that woman today. You're actually going to start noticing people turning heads and also wanting to engage with you on a deeper level. Here are all the video chapters, and you can also find the video chapters in the description below. And if you are currently on the path to truly transforming your life, not only just watching these videos, but actually transforming, I provide in-depth worksheets for every single one of my videos. In these worksheets, I provide in-depth journaling prompts as well as practical exercises to help you truly rewire and shift your limiting beliefs, as well as helping you write an action plan so you can start implementing all of these tools so you can become your highest self today. The link to sign up is down in the description below. So let's dive into the video. The first micro habit is to invest in high quality perfume and to be sure to spritz it on yourself before you leave the house. Whether you're going on a grocery run, whether you're going out on a date, whatever occasion, just whenever you leave the house, always spritz some high quality perfume on you. When you have this luxury scent and a scent that is very unique to you, then you actually create emotional impact without even saying a word. And it's so deeply psychological that people don't even realize how much scents can really make an impact in the way we perceive other people. Wear a high quality perfume that is unique and distinct based on your personality and what you want to emit. And I love going to Sephora, Nordstrom to try out as many different samples as possible. And you'll find that even just one spritz is enough to last for the whole day. And these perfumes, they last for like your life. Like they last an entire lifetime. You need to understand that being a high value woman isn't just what we see in the physical eye, but it is also deeply about the invisible elements. The invisible elements include your sense of smell, and just simply adding a small spritz can really help you elevate and make you feel more expensive. The second micro habit is to sway your hips when you walk. I know if you are not used to walking or feeling like a supermodel, or if you feel like, who am I to walk like that? Who am I to express myself like that? And I used to feel that way too. I'm like, who am I to walk like that? There's no way I can walk like that. I don't have the body for that. I don't have the looks for that. Yeah, right? But I want you to just step away from the noise for a little bit and to just see this as exposure therapy. That the more we expose ourselves in this very foreign territory, the more we're going to feel more comfortable in this state of mind. And I now strut everywhere I walk, and I feel confident, and I emit this presence that I know who I am. I feel calm in myself. I feel self-assured. And just as simple as changing the way that you walk and swaying your hips and really engaging in that second chakra where you're really in your feminine, you're in your playful energy, that can elevate your presence completely. Also, talk about first impression. If you're walking into a date or if you are walking into an interview, swaying your hips can signal that you know yourself. You're confident in what you bring to the table. And that is very unspoken. Like, you're not saying that out loud, but just from your presence, people can feel that energy immediately. You have to remember that having a high value body language is really about being open. It's about really swaying and taking your time and really tapping into your feminine essence. Having an expensive presence is not about being loud, but it's about moving with grace, moving with control, moving with sensuality. Not only does this impact the way people see you when you sway your hips and walk like a supermodel, but it also impacts the way that you view yourself. The more permission you give yourself to walk like that, to really feel and tap into that confidence, the more you'll start seeing yourself in that light as well. And I truly believe that the person that you need to convince the most when you're turning into this high value woman is yourself. It doesn't matter what people think about you, but it really matters how you think of yourself. And strutting like life is a runway is the best thing to do. And using your life as your own personal runway is the best way to really tap and give yourself permission to feel high value. The next micro habit is to speak on a lower tone range. I used to speak at a very high tone, and I would speak and focus all of my attention in the throat. I used to speak like this and no one really respected me. No one really wanted to hear me. And I always felt like my words didn't matter. But when I started lowering my tone, when I started slowing down and allowing my words to have impact, just allowing my words to land, that made a significant difference. People lean in more. People genuinely want to hear and understand what I have to say. This is so subtle because a lot of us, especially women, don't feel like their voice could go down that low. But I'm not telling you to speak like a man. I'm telling you to speak with more poise and more control. And doing that can help you enhance your ability to make an impact through your words. And having a lower vocal tone can actually help you slow down and speak with more clarity, to speak with more oomph. You want that impact. You'll come to realize when you start practicing speaking in a lower tone, you will immediately feel more confident and you will start to hear yourself. We're like, wow, when you have a lower tone in your voice, people will respect you more because you sound more assertive. I also want you to think about all of the creators, all of the inspirational speakers that you follow and listen, and really analyze their tone of voice. How do they speak? And what makes you respect them more? And you'll find that it's because of their tone of voice. They sound way more assured. And when they sound assured, you obviously trust them more. If you want to know more about how to truly capture attention and to be more memorable, I actually made a video called A Shy Introvert's Guide to Feminine Charisma. I go through very practical and actionable tips like hand gestures, eye contact, voice range, literally go through everything to help you emit that feminine charisma. The fourth micro habit is to use gentle hand gestures to provide more impact. People actually hear your words more when you use your hands. When your hand gestures are in alignment with the things that you're saying, your message actually comes across with more impact. You're essentially orchestrating this energy. Again, energy is something that is very nonverbal, but you're orchestrating this energy to create a whole different experience for the other person that you're talking to. Having hand gestures also disarms people. So if you are meeting someone new, they don't really know you, they don't really trust you, how you can really break that barrier down is to use hand gestures to show that you're welcoming, to show that you want to engage with them. And just doing this very simple thing, it's such a micro habit, but it helps break down that wall and allows people to want to engage with you on a deeper level. The fifth microhabit is to graciously say thank you when people are complimenting you. Why do so many women feel intimidated when they receive a compliment? It's like society has conditioned us that we need to feel small 24/7, and when we actually have some sort of compliment come to us, we feel this instant need to hide in our shell. We feel this instant need to self-deprecate. And we do that because we feel like we're not allowed to take up space and own our power. But becoming that high value woman is really about owning your strength, owning your power, knowing that you have value to bring to the table. And when someone compliments you, no matter how uncomfortable it is to own that, do it. Just take the action, just take the bold action and just say, thank you. I really appreciate it. That's it. Nothing else that needs to be done. Accept the compliment with grace. If you still have trouble with this, I want to bring in a very key mindset shift. If someone compliments you and you self-deprecate, you hide yourself, or you're like, no, I'm not like that. What you're doing is you're discounting that person's judgment, that person's perception, and you're actually hurting the other person. Like, just think of it that way. You're essentially saying that their judgment is completely wrong. But when they compliment you, they're not doing it to make you feel a certain way, but it usually is coming from a true, genuine place. All you gotta do is just accept and say thank you. These are very unconscious things that we do on a day-to-day basis, but we need to start paying attention to how we're reacting when we are being complimented, when we are shown our value. We need to just take a step back and say, yeah, I am that girl. Yeah, I do have value to give. Yeah, I am beautiful. Yeah, I am smart. And following up self-deprecation, because we're going to end that entirely, the 6th microhabit is to replace your sorries with thank yous. I actually read this in a Girl's Life magazine when I was about 8 years old, and this tip really stuck with me for life. In Canada, we are notorious for saying sorry. We love saying sorry. And just because your country says sorry all the time doesn't mean that you have to. So this is something that I've broken out of. Instead of saying sorry, I focus my attention on showing appreciation instead. If you are late, just say, thank you so much for waiting. Don't say sorry, because when you say sorry, you automatically lose your power. And we all make mistakes, it's fine. But what happens when you say sorry constantly? You are devaluing yourself every single time. The word sorry means that there is something wrong with you. The word sorry means that you've done something wrong, that you should be guilty of something. And when we feel guilt and shame, it devalues us. And usually the other person reacting to that, when you devalue yourself, they will feel that they need to see you that way. And the more that you say sorry to this person, the more that you're conditioning them to see you as someone who is lower than them. It's deeply psychological and it is so subtle, but we need to pay attention to this. And next time you're late, next time you do something that is very forgivable, just show your appreciation. Say thank you. Thank you so much for waiting. Thank you so much for helping me out with this. I know you're busy. Now, huge disclaimer here, I'm not telling you to wipe out the word sorry entirely. We make mistakes, we're human, and using the word sorry intentionally is the whole point of this point. I want to share with you that being apologetic isn't something that you should make as a habit, but you should only use the words sorry when you truly mean it. And when you use the word sorry sparingly, it allows people to respect you more. Because if you're not constantly apologetic, and when you use those words sparingly, it makes the other person feel respected. It makes the other person feel special. The 7th microhabit is to identify your emotions regularly. And I want to introduce this term, emotional granularity. And I actually learned about this in Dr. Huberman's podcast. Emotional granularity is the ability to clearly identify your emotions and feelings in the most specific and nuanced way. So instead of saying, I feel bad, I feel sad, you can say, I feel rejected, I feel overlooked, I feel emotionally drained. This concept actually came from neuroscience and psychology, and that when you name your emotions with precision, it actually changes the way that we process these emotions in our brain. When you identify your emotions more regularly, you become more in tune with them and you're able to release them a lot faster. Now, why is this so important when you're on the road to becoming a high-value woman? The reason why this is so important is because a high-value woman has a highly regulated nervous system. When a woman stops suppressing and starts giving herself permission to feel the emotions, to process the emotions, she's able to better release them. And that's a way to truly help regulate your nervous system so you come off as more calm, more poised. Versus, on the other hand, if this woman is constantly reacting impulsively with all of her emotions bottling up, she's not coming off as poised at all. Instead, she feels out of control. And who will ever listen to you if your emotions are causing this chaotic energy? It's that people don't respect that energy, but people are more willing to hear you when you are poised, when you are still coming off as controlled, even if you're going through something. And it takes a lot of practice in the process. It's a very deep spiritual process. And by simply using emotional granularity and saying, I feel angry because this happened and it makes me feel like this. When you identify and give yourself permission to identify those specific emotions, you give yourself the opportunity to work through them. And identifying our emotions, we're not taught in school, but it's one of the most important skills to have as a woman. Society tells us that we're not allowed to have certain feelings, we're not allowed to feel this way, but when we have this internal battle, this internal conflict that happens within ourselves, we usually manifest that confusion. We manifest this very, very chaotic energy. So let's end that entirely. Let's just allow ourselves to feel whatever we need to feel so that we can embody a very calm, controlled sort of presence. High-value women use words like this. Instead of saying, you're being rude, you would say, I feel disrespected. Instead of saying, I'm freaking out, a high-value woman would say, I'm feeling emotionally overstimulated right now. Instead of saying, this is dumb, she would say, this feels misaligned. And just by simply taking ownership of how you feel, no matter how people are treating you, gives you all the power to be able to change your narrative, to change your own personal story, and to stop waiting for that permission to feel a certain way. The 8th microhabit is to end every conversation with a compliment. And I usually love leaving compliments that are less about surface level aspects of a person, but really about energy, about their personality and how they made me feel. This is so powerful because people don't remember what you say, but they remember how you made them feel. This is a really big key when it comes to high-value women energy. You're not trying to look a certain way, but really, what kind of energy are you emitting? What kind of impact are you making on others? And I usually share compliments that feel more in tune with my truth. So when I compliment someone and I clearly had a very deep, engaging, soul-filling talk, I would actually express that. I would say, I just want to say that I had the best conversation with you. I just feel my soul lifted and I just had such a bad week, but I felt like after talking to you, I just feel revived and I feel so inspired to create again. And it's these very simple compliments that could really help uplift that other person. And it's all about spreading positivity here. I tend to try to stay away from surface level compliments because I feel like those don't stick as well, but complimenting on someone's energy, complimenting on someone's personality, oh, that hits. And those are typically the compliments that I remember. Now, sharing compliments can feel really intimidating, especially if you're not raised in a family that honored words of affirmation. That's totally okay. You don't have to share that in person, but even just sending a simple text after your conversation, just follow up and say, hey, I just got home. I had a really amazing time tonight. I just want to share yada, yada, yada. And even just writing a simple text to show your gratitude and appreciation and how their presence made an impact on you personally can really make a huge, significant difference. The ninth microhabit is to just let pauses happen. Stop trying to overcompensate and stop trying to fill every silence that occurs. When you are constantly trying to fill the silence, number one, you're not giving the other person the opportunity to ask questions about you. But number two, it creates this feeling that you're anxious, that you're trying to impress them, that you're trying to fill the void because you don't feel comfortable in their presence. And that makes them feel even more uncomfortable in the process. You need to remember that conversation is a two-way street, so don't feel this overwhelming pressure to always try to entertain, to always think of the best questions, and allow that silence to really sit through. And silence sometimes is powerful. It allows people to reflect on the conversation. It allows people to think of better conversations and better topics in the process. Don't be afraid of it and allow people to really sit with the conversation in silence. And it gives the other person the opportunity to think of things to ask you because they want to get to know you as well. Not only that, having pauses in your words as well. If you are saying a very long story, you will feel this natural tendency to want to ramble and talk as fast as you can because sometimes we may feel uncomfortable taking up that much space, so we feel like we need to hurry up our story. But our story can only land with impact when we take more pauses. Taking intentional pauses so the other person can really engage and deepen their understanding with the words that we're sharing. It is safe to have pauses when we're speaking, and as high value women, that's how we come across as more expensive. The 10th microhabit is to add beauty in your living space. So whether it's your house, your apartment, your room, whatever you spend the most time in, really use this opportunity to elevate your space. And you can do this with fresh flowers, with candles, with beautiful ornaments, whatever you can to make your space feel expensive. It's actually not as expensive as you think. And adding these small things to elevate your space can really impact your energy in a major way. How can you expect yourself to change your self-image when your space looks like a landfill? When you are not cleaning your room, when you're leaving your period underwear all over your room, in your closet, and you're not taking true ownership over the cleanliness of your space. Your space is a direct correlation of how you feel on the inside. So when your space looks like a dump, you will automatically feel more chaotic in your brain. Cleaning your space and maintaining a beautiful space is part of self-care. So use this opportunity to just look around your room and just do a quick audit. What can I add to elevate my space so I can feel more expensive, so I can start valuing myself more? And just adding this very simple change can really help you elevate your own confidence and your own value. A really cool manifestation hack is if you are currently in the process of manifesting your dream apartment, your dream home, what you can do now with your current space is think, if I had my dream home now, what kind of decorations would I add around my house? What kind of posters would I put up? And use this opportunity to do a deep dive of finding different elements, finding different home decor to help add those bits and pieces of your future dream apartment. And just by doing this, it can really help you elevate and feel more excited that your future dream home is coming real soon. The 11th microhabit to implement is whenever you are eating, eat slowly and sensually. And this is a really key habit because when you are eating is an experience of pleasure. And as women, we are truly in our feminine when we are in our pleasure centers, when we are in this place of pleasure and love and enjoyment and fun. We are meant to be playful as women. Girls just want to have fun. It's true. And when we are eating, we actually engage those senses of pleasure and fun. When we rewire ourselves to feel more pleasure and fun, we immediately tap into our femininity. If you want to appear elegant when you're on a date, when you eat, don't eat quickly. Really savor the food. Really show that you're experiencing this food through your mouth and it's a whole body experience. Just really savor the taste, really enjoy the taste, and that can come off in a very feminine way. The 12th and final habit is to be firm on your word. As high value women, Our word is completely sacred. And when we get into the habit of making lies, coming up with excuses, when we don't follow through on our promises, we tend to lose respect over ourselves and our own voice. I want you to think of that one person in your life that always bails whenever you make plans with them. When they do this the first time, sure, like that's totally fine, things happen. But when they do it for the second, third, fourth time, you become a little wary. You're like, this isn't the first time it happened. So you start to lose respect over their voice and their power and their words because their words don't hold power at all. And this also comes with making promises with yourself. If you tell yourself that you're going to go to the gym today, you better go to the gym today, because this also applies to you. This isn't just about making promises to other people. This is really about reaffirming that respect within yourself. So if you plan on respecting yourself more, start implementing promises that you can keep. And it's important to be realistic. It's important to not overwhelm yourself constantly or feel like you need to say yes to every single event. If you feel like you're doing that with other people, if you feel obligated to say yes to events all the time, instead just take a step back and say, let me think about that, or let me get back to you. And as people pleasers, you may have the tendency to want to say yes to everything immediately. High value women respect and honor their time, and they're busy people. So that means that their schedule is highly intentional. So if they want to hang out with you, they will. If they don't want to hang out with you, they will just say, I have something going on during that time. So be incredibly intentional with your energy, and your word is completely sacred to you. So please honor your word, because you will come off way more respected if you do. Now we've reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for tuning all the way to the end. If you have any high value women micro habits, I would actually love to hear them. If you could just pop them down in the comment below. And if you're currently on the journey of becoming the woman of your dreams and building a life that you absolutely love, I highly recommend checking out my channel, because I talk all about self-development and being the best version of yourself, because you deserve that. And if you want in-depth worksheets to help you apply everything that you've learned in this video, the worksheet link is down in the description below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I so appreciate you, and I hope to see you next week. Bye!